Shoutouts to Chris Willock, SWW Productions, Digital Scars Live, and also Karen's pets Dougal, Kaffra, Jenkins, Bobby, Tesha, and Winnie, Skylar, Moody, Margaret, and Aileen. Enough already, let the games begin. Hello, Paul is the best for UK here, and welcome to the Christmas Special 2022. We've got quite a few games to get through, so we'll start off on the Mega Drive, and this is Shinobi 3, Return of the Ninja Master. So this is copyright 1993 from Sega. So let's go for easy, because I'm shit at games. Now, this game is brilliant. It's got absolutely great visuals, great music, and it's just a really fantastic game. Now I've just done Invoke the Power by mistake, press the wrong button there. But as you can see, we're in the forest, and you can see we've got multi-layered parallax scrolling, superb visuals, superb music, and yep, just a superb way to start off this Christmas special video. So if you haven't got this game on your Mega Drive, I highly recommend you go and pick it up or download the ROM for your F-Drive or your emulator. So I'm going to give this one a massive 9 out of 10 to start us off. So I will shut up now so I can have a look at a bit of gameplay. Next on the list, Alien vs Predator on the Atari Jaguar. Now you can choose between Alien, Predator or Colonel Marine on this, but I'm just going to go for the Marine. So this is a fantastic first person shooter for the Atari Jaguar. It's got great graphics, it's got a good decent frame rate, and it really could show off the power of the Atari Jaguar back at the time. I had this back in the day. Well, I didn't have it personally, I borrowed this console off a friend, and it had this game with it, and I was so impressed at the time. You can see that that's a sprite that rotates with the camera. But yeah, as you can see, great first-person shooter. Pick up a weapon here, and yeah, it's just amazing to show what the Atari Jaguar could do back in the day. So I'm going to give this one another massive 9 out of 10. Absolutely superb. Let's have a look at a bit of gameplay. Next up, we've got Christmas Nights on the Sega Saturn. I think this was like a sort of promo disc that was like Christmas themed, based on the full game Nights into Dreams. This is a very good, very festive Christmas promo game for the Sega Saturn. Lovely Christmas trees and decorations and stuff on the game. A great rendition of the Jingle Bells song as well, and absolutely fun to play. Real good frame rates, real good graphics, great audio, and yeah, you're probably likely to go out and buy Nights into Dreams if you play this first. So yeah, that's Christmas Nights on the Sega Saturn. I'm going to give that one a massive 9 out of 10. Next up, Miss Pac-Man for the Atari 2600. So yeah, this is the Miss version of Pac-Man, not the original Pac-Man game. The original Pac-Man game on the Atari 2600 was pretty ropey, to say the least. This is much improved. You can see it's got great visuals for such a limited console. It's got some of the sound effects and stuff from the arcade. You got like fruit and stuff you can pick up on this version, being Mrs. Pac-Man. Yeah, one of the very first video games I ever played on. It could possibly be the very first video game I ever played on as a kid. And yep, this is Miss Pac-Man on the Atari 2600. I'm going to give this one, I'm going to say 7 out of 10. It seems like a really good Pac-Man adventure for the Atari 2600. Here we have Home Alone, the Sega Mega Drive version. I remember playing this as a kid. I think we actually loaned this from a rental company at the time. And yep, this is a very good Home Alone game for the Mega Drive. Obviously this is based on the movie of the same name. And yeah, you can set up your traps and stuff at the start using this blueprint screen. So it's just loosely based on the movie of the same name. So let's do this. Let's get some marbles in there. Yeah, put that there, and let's go down a bit. And let's exit out of this. And as you can see, yeah, you are in the house, the mansion, and what you've got to try and do is protect the house from the two guys who come and break in. Yep. So excellent. Nice little adventure game for the Mega Drive. I'm going to give this one 7 out of 10. Seems like a superb game, and it's a lot different than the other console versions. You might see that if you have a look on YouTube. You can see the SNES version is a lot different. Okay, so yep, them traps that you planted on the blueprint series earlier will actually display on the house. So I'll leave you with this game with a little more gameplay footage, and on to the next in a brief moment. Pepsi Man! What can I say about Pepsi Man? This is Pepsi Man on the PlayStation. This is Japan only release, and what you've got to do is you've got to run through the streets causing havoc and pick up all the Pepsis along the way. So obviously this is based on the Pepsi branding, which is still going today, of course. So watch out for the garbage truck, because he's like sort of throwing all of his garbage out there. Oh, you fuck, I just hurt my foot. Go straight through the gardens. The gardens are now matched for Pepsi Man. Hello. She's hanging out the washing line there. So we've got some good visuals on this. It looks quite good actually, considering what it is in terms of graphics. This is an early PlayStation title. We'll try and roll under this lorry here. And yeah, so Pepsi Man and checkpoints there. So let's go into someone's house. Privacy is now concerned for Pepsi Man. He just runs through whilst I do the business. Okay, holy shit, I've got a bin on my head now. What the hell is going on? So the controls are reversed, so watch it. Oh, down the hole. That's a bit of a dangerous hole, isn't it? When there's work around, haven't put no signs to warn people. We're straight into the wall. Pepsi Man gets up. This holds no barrier for Pepsi Man. Here we go. So through this door. Ah, no, not the bin. He's got a bin on his head. Pepsi Man can't get the bin off his head. Poor Pepsi Man. Watching out. Watching out for these workers. Oh, you fuck. So yeah, that's Pepsi Man. I'm going to give this one 7 out of 10. It's not that bad actually, to be honest. It's got quite good visuals. And it's quite an interesting concept, interesting idea, and obviously Pepsi branded. Like I said earlier, it was released in Japan only, so it didn't make its way to UK or USA, I don't believe. But that's Pepsi Man on the PlayStation 1. So yeah, quite a fun game. Oh, you do quite often get attacked and stuff. Like this lower here hasn't secured its load. So all the wardrobes and stuff are falling out the back. Oh, you fuck. So that's Pepsi Man. All that just to get a can of Pepsi from a vending machine. Even now, I've just picked up a load of Pepsis from the ground. Ho ho ho! Next up, we're back onto Nintendo 64 and we've got 1080 snowboarding. So let's have a look at this. I can choose your rider in the main screen. I remember having this back in the day and I thought this game was excellent. So yeah, let's choose this guy here, and we can choose our boards as well. I've got a fair selection of boards to choose from. Graphics are okay on this game, they're not too bad. It's quite an early title, I think, if I remember correctly, for the Nintendo 64. So on to Crystal Lake here, you can see like the graphics are pretty reasonable. You can see like the background there and the mountain. Got a slight bit of fog on it just to hide some of the pop-up, but it doesn't hide it completely, as you can see. But yeah, all in all, a good, decent snowboarding game, to be honest. Like I said, I had this back in the day and I thought it was excellent, and I still think it's a pretty decent snowboarding game, to be honest. I think it's Nintendo 64 exclusive. I don't think it come out on any other machine. I might be wrong on that, but I'm pretty sure it's Nintendo 64 exclusive. Visuals are good and music's pretty good as well, and yeah, not bad for a nice little Nintendo 64 snowboarding experience. And yeah, you can pull all sorts of stunts and stuff to earn additional respect points, etc. And you got your damage meter at the top, your time limit, and I think it looks quite nice for the age of the game. And yep, so with that in mind, I'm going to give this one 8 out of 10. Pretty good, decent game actually. So I'll leave you with a little bit of gameplay footage until I invoke the next game. I wonder which game it is, and I wonder which system it's on. Let's find out in a second.
Nice try.
Next up, another game I had back in the day. This is Super Spike Volleyball on the Nintendo Entertainment System, or the original 8-bit NES. This is a pretty fun to play volleyball game. I don't get off to a very good start here, but yeah, I'm the ones on the left and the computer is the ones on the right. But you can play 2 players, I believe, as well, with 2 controllers. And yeah, pretty fun little volleyball game. Got excellent music. Got different music on each level, and each level state, whatever you want to call it, it's got different visuals as well. So it's got a lot of variety in the environments and the different states of America that you play through. This is Daytona Beach on this first level. You can see like the monster trucks and stuff in the background. I couldn't say if that's like a real thing in the actual real life, but yeah. Super Spike Volleyball, a pretty decent sports simulation on the Nintendo NES. There's quite a lot of sprite flickering goes on, and the sort of aim target also flickers, but it doesn't really affect gameplay. It's still very fun to play. It's got great music as well, different music on different levels, like I said, so it's not always the same tune, which is always good. And yeah, you can like do some power moves and stuff, and like sort of try and beat your opponents that way. Or you can just pass the ball, and yeah, it just seems like a really nice volleyball simulator for the NES. There wasn't many volleyball games back then, and this is one of the best ones I think I played. So I'm going to give this 8 out of 10. It's superb fun actually, and I highly recommend you try it out if you've got a Nintendo Entertainment System. Here is a little bit more gameplay footage. Atari ST time, and this time it's Saint Dragon. The Atari ST from the South Curve, I think it was from, maybe. So yeah, excellent game, excellent graphics, got some parallax scroll in there as well, runs at a pretty decent frame rate. This is based on the coin-op machine of the same name, and yeah, they've done an excellent job of getting the visuals looking great on the Atari ST. I think if I had an Atari ST back in the day, I never did, I only got one like later in life, but if I had one back in the day and I played this in the arcades, then I went and I took the disc home of this and played this in Atari ST, I think I would have been quite happy. It's a good, decent horizontal shooter. It's very difficult, it's not easy by all means. You get power-ups along the way. You control like this like sort of weird dragon thing with like circles that follow you behind it. It's kind of a strange idea, but yet nevertheless it plays really good, and that's Saint Dragon on the Atari ST, part of my Christmas special. I'm going to give this one, as you can see it's a bit slow down going on now, but yeah, there's a lot going on this game. I'm going to give this one 8 out of 10. Seems like a really solid shooter. So a little bit more gameplay footage and then on to the next. Now on to Amiga, Commodore Amiga, and this is now second prize, a Motorbike Simulation. Now this is running on 500 emulator, Amiga 500, so 68000. As you can see, the frame rate is superb for such the slower processor. So yeah, excellent graphics. The other bikers look massive on this, it's kind of crazy. The one thing I did notice when playing the game, I'm not sure why, but the position 6 at the top right wasn't going down even though I was passing many motorcycles. I wasn't quite sure why that was. But yeah, this seems like a really good game. It's quite hard to control with the mouse, so I am using the mouse to control this. It's quite sensitive. You can actually adjust the sensitivity in the options, so that might improve things. It's almost like you're in a flight simulator sometimes because of how it banks. It's quite crazy, but nice and fast, nice and smooth, polygon based, and yeah, it seems like a really good Amiga game. It's one I've never played before until today, making this video, so yeah, not bad of a nice little Amiga motorbike simulator. I'm going to give this one 8 out of 10. They've done an excellent job and it's got excellent frame rate, and it just seems like a really good game. I just don't know why that position 6 wasn't going down as I was overtaking the riders. So yep, that's no second prize on the Commodore Amiga. I will leave a little bit of gameplay footage on. Okay, back to Atari Jaguar now, and this is Atari Carts. So yeah, excellent. It's almost like a Mode 7 style kart racer. I think it's quite expensive to buy, but there's some decent Atari Jaguar emulators out there now, so if you want to try it out, I highly recommend trying out the Atari Jaguar emulators. And yep, seems like a Mario Kart clone. I don't think it's quite as refined as Mario Kart in my opinion, but it's still pretty good to play. It's got good atmospheric levels, good music, and yeah, definitely a Mode 7 style game. There is a bit of a bad collision detection when it comes to some of the scenery objects I've noticed, but other than that, it seems like a really fun game. It's got multi-layered parallax scrolling in the background as well, as you can see with the horizon. See that? I can't go forward even now, there's a big gap there, so there might be a bit of collision issues, but yeah, I'm going to give this one 8 out of 10 anyway. Here's some more footage. Okay, ZX Spectrum time. We have finally got to ZX Spectrum, and this is Jungle Trouble. Now this game I had as a kid, it was on the front of a magazine at the time, but it was also available commercially as well, and this game is rock solid. You got to get the timing of the jumps spot on, or you just fall into the sea every time. Now every time you fall into the sea or the lake, you lose that axe. You collect the axe from the right. Now this is not as easy as it looks. You have to really get the timing right with the fire button, or you just fall down like that and into the crocodiles. Happy gator. So yep, yeah, it's really difficult, and if that wasn't worse enough, once you get past this stepping stone bit, you have to go up that ladder and chop them trees down, but you have to chop them down before the monkey comes and nicks your axe off you. So it's incredibly difficult, and I've never ever done this screen, I don't think. It's one of them games where it's just really difficult to play. I have reviewed this on the channel before, and yep, so that's Jungle Trouble. I'm going to give this one 7 out of 10. I can't give it any higher because of this massive steep difficulty curve. If you're into a real challenge, try out this game. I can guarantee that you're going to find it difficult, even if you're an experienced gamer. So yeah, I will leave with a tiny bit more footage of me playing it absolutely dreadfully. Here's an interesting one for the Commodore 64. It was also available on other formats, but this is the Commodore 64 version. It's called Shockwave Rider, and basically you go on these different platforms. Each one is a different speed. The top one's the slowest, the middle one's middle fast, and the bottom one's the fastest. And you sort of shoot the baddies that come behind and in front of you using the joystick to do so. Got some great SID music on this version. It was also available on Spectrum and the Amstrad CPC. This is probably the definitive version now, in my opinion. And yep, pretty decent game, a bit strange, but watch out for if a baddie gets you because he will chop your head off. so you get decapitated if the body gets you, so not exactly a safe environment to be in. I'm not sure if it's based on the future or the past or whatever, but yeah, quite a fun game to be honest. I'm going to give it 7 out of 10. It's one I remember back as a kid, and yeah, it seems like quite a fun game. See my head chop off then. So yeah, a bit more gameplay footage and listen to that awesome music. Okay, back to Sega Saturn again, and now we're on to Sega Rally. This is an awesome port of the arcade machine. They've done an excellent job of getting it almost perfection on the Sega Saturn. If you put the arcade machine and the Sega Saturn side by side, there is a few differences. It looks a bit high resolution on the arcade machine, but this Sega Saturn version is absolutely superb. One of the best racing games on the Sega Saturn, and absolutely fun to play, even better with the Sega Saturn official steering wheel. So yeah, as you can see, great visuals, great graphics, great solid fast frame rate, good music, and yeah, excellent game all round. I'm going to give this one 10 out of 10, it's probably the first of the video in it. So yeah, that's 10 out of 10 for Sega Rally. Highly recommend you get it if you've got a Sega Saturn. Here's a bit more gameplay footage, and we'll go on to the next system and game. Back to PlayStation 1 now, Sony PlayStation 1, and this is an early title for the PlayStation console, and this is Motorbike Grand Prix. As you can see, it's a sort of Mario Kart clone where you can choose power-ups and stuff, weapons to evade your enemies and stuff. Very colourful game, lovely frame rates. The way the cars bend as you turn is weird, but it's just part of its charm. Yeah, actually very colourful game. Sky's like purple, orange, yellow, and yep, just a very colourful, bright, quite a fun game to play actually. And it's one of the early Sony PlayStation titles that I don't think I played on until now. So yep, it's Motorbike Grand Prix. I think it might have been Japan only, I'm not sure. Maybe it was, maybe it wasn't. I think the sequel was released in Europe, etc. But yep, that's an early PlayStation 1 title. I'm going to give this one 8 out of 10. It seems very good. So bit more footage and on to the next. Super Nintendo time now. Back to the 16-bit era, and this is Top Gear by Kemco. Obviously the Top Gear Rally on the Nintendo 64 was like a sort of successor, but this is Top Gear. This game's very Lotus-like. You know, you got a split screen on this version of the game. I think the sequel might have had a full screen, but I think just like on Lotus 1, this is split screen only. So the computer's at the bottom, I'm at the top, and doing shit on the game. I did have a crappy start on the game. I didn't figure out the accelerator button for a few seconds, but yeah, this is a really good looking SNES game. Great fun to play as well, good playability, got long draw distances, the controls are very responsive, the graphics look the part, and yeah, a really nice Super Nintendo 2-player game. You can play against a computer like I am doing here, or you can play against a second player with joystick plugged in, joypad plugged in to port 2, and yeah, Top Gear, good game. What more can I say about it? Here it is, here's a bit more footage, and then on to the next. Back to Sony PlayStation 1, and this is ESPN ESPN Extreme Sports, I think it's called. This is a game I played way back when the Sony PlayStation 1 first come out on a demo disc, and I was very impressed with the visuals at the time because I was used to like Amiga, SNES, Spectrum, all that sort of stuff, and yeah, this looked like real life almost, photorealistic graphics. It doesn't look like that now, but it did back in the time, because obviously there was nothing else apart from the Sega Saturn and PC that could match it. So yeah, very good early PlayStation 1 title, and fun to play. Rollerblades, and I think there's other vehicles that you can go on later on. And yes, good game, good graphics, looks apart, and he's a bit more footage. 8 out of 10 for this one. Sega Master System time now, and this is Donald Duck the Lucky Dime Caper. An excellent game, excellent animation, excellent graphics, excellent sound, just pure Disney quality on the Master System. So if you've got a Master System and you like adventure quests, like adventure platformers, I highly recommend this one. It's a really decent game. It's got great visuals, like I said earlier, great animation, great music, and just all well fun to play. I highly recommend it. Definitely a worthwhile addition to the Master System library that you may have. Of course, you can also run it on the Mega Drive using the power-based converter. And yes, so that's Donald Duck the Lucky Dime Caper on a Sega Master System. All in all, a fantastic game. 9 out of 10. He's a bit more gameplay footage. Game Boy Original now, and this is Batman for the Game Boy Original. Very decent game by Sunsoft. This is 1990 by Sunsoft, and just like the NES version, it's also got decent music, really decent music, and yeah, good gameplay. I have reviewed this on the channel before, a long time ago. An excellent game. I'm going to give this one 9 out of 10. Superb fun. On to the next one after a bit of footage. This is the Amstrad CPC version of Pang, which is based on the coin-op machine of the same name, and as you can see, it's absolutely superb. It's got great visuals, great music. This is actually a cartridge release. You can get it on tape or disc as well, but I'm playing an emulated cartridge. I don't know if the cartridge came out back in the day or if it's been made by the community, I don't know, but this is an emulated cartridge, and it's got instant load times and absolutely superb gameplay. If you like Pang in the arcades, you're definitely going to like this version. Well made by Ocean Software. Highly enjoyed this one, and yeah, so that's Pang for the Amstrad CPC 464. As you can see, it's got great visuals and great graphics, great sound effects, music, etc. And just like any good Pang game, it's very console-like, and it's also got different visuals to different levels. So that's Pang. 9 out of 10 for this one. Adam's Family on the Game Gear is a bit of a disappointment. It's got quite good visuals, and the playability isn't that great though. Definitely not the best version of the game. It's not bad, but it's not good either. I'm going to give this one more of a 6 out of 10. And this is Adam's Family on the Game Gear.
Get ready. Go.
On to Nintendo 64 again, and this is Automobiley Lamborghini. I'm not sure if I pronounce that right, but yeah, this is a game I had back in the day and I did enjoy it. It was a tiny bit ropey, it was not the best driving game on the system, but it's certainly not the worst. And this is by Titus or Titus Software, however you say that. And yep, it's got okay visuals, they look a bit bland in places, but other than that, they don't look too bad. And yep, this is a nice sort of driving game on a Nintendo 64, which I used to play quite a lot back in the day. And I actually enjoyed it, to be honest. Obviously based on Lamborghini branding, and yeah, I'm going to give Automobiley Lamborghini, again if I pronounce that right, a respectful 7 out of 10. It's not the best driving game, but it's certainly not the worst. A little bit more footage now.
Checkpoint.
Back to ZX Spectrum, and this is a game called Cosmic Chaos that was released for exclusive for Crash Magazine. I don't know if it was a reader game or if it was a game made by Crash Magazine themselves, I can't remember, but it only appeared on the Crash cover tape back in the day, and it was a game I used to play a lot, and it's very fast and frantic and very fun to play. So if you've never played this game, try and search for it, Cosmic Chaos. Very good game for Crash Magazine. 8 out of 10. Back to Atari Jaguar now, and this is Power Drive Rally. This is a game I used to play back in the day a lot, and it's very good actually. It's got some awesome water reflections of the sky, which I always found was quite impressive. Another decent Atari Jaguar game. The Atari Jaguar didn't really get enough love as it probably could have deserved. It was quite a powerful system, to be honest, and this is no exception. Look at them, the car reflections, the lighting effects on the car look amazing as well. So yeah, this is based on the game Power Drive that was also on other consoles such as the not the Spectrum, the Sega Mega Drive, Super Nintendo, Amiga, which incidentally is not a console of course, but yep. So that's Power Drive Rally, the Atari Jaguar version, and yep, very good game. I recommend it if you've got the Jaguar, and it's very good fun to play. And it's got plenty of levels, plenty of different countries to play through, different weather effects, and yep, 8 out of 10. And our final game of the Christmas special is Rally Challenge 2000 for the Nintendo 64. As you can see, it's got some very Sega Rally-like vibes. It's not as good as Sega Rally, of course. It's not a bad game now. It plays quite well. It's one of the better driving games on the Nintendo 64. Prior to this video, it's a game I've never played, so yeah, new one to me, and it plays pretty well, to be honest. But yep, so that's the run-up of the Christmas special. That's the end of the Christmas special, and I'd like to thank you for staying this long if you've managed to stay this long, and Merry Christmas everyone, Happy New Year, and hopefully I'll see you in tomorrow's game of the day. So I'd like to thank you for watching the Christmas special, and thank you for staying with Paul Special UK since 2006. So yes, thank you for watching, have a pleasant evening. I'm going to give this one 8 out of 10. It seems like a pretty decent Nintendo 64 driving game. Thank you for watching and goodbye.